We're tasting the 2007 Descendant.
Yep. The Descendant is a wine that's very dear to my heart, because whereas a lot of the vineyards that I work with are old, this one's relatively young. This vineyard I specifically planted in 1994 to make this wine. So this is a single vineyard of Shiraz, but it's co-fermented with 8% Viognier. Of course, no great surprise, that's a style that originated in Côte Rôtie in the Northern Rhine, and a lot of us in the New World have been working with this blend. I wasn't the first one in Australia, but probably one of the most prominent ones to be doing it. So I took cuttings off all the old vineyards that go into Runrig, planted them in this one vineyard next to my old winery with the Viognier, and every year we co-ferment it with 8% Viognier. Lovely dirt, it's like tough dirt, you know, that's really, once again, the red clays of limestone. I know I keep going on about that, but it is very important, that terra rosa soil. But on its own, this wine is almost too much. It's so brambly and briary and tarry and so on. So that 8% Viognier gives a wonderful dimension to the wine. First of all, it gives that lovely aromatic lift. But the other great thing about Viognier is that it produces higher levels of glycerol than any other grape variety, so it gives a wonderful texture.
A bit more weight as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you talk about the wine having legs, it's directly related to the amount of glycerol in the wine. But it's a textural component, and that's what gives this wine a complexity that a single vineyard may on its own not have. The wine spends 18 months in wood. The barrels that I've used previously for Runrig, so the 2.5-year-old barrel. That's why the wine's called Descendant. It is quite literally descended from the Runrig.
Oh, very interesting.
It's only a small vineyard. We make probably 600-700 cases a year, so it's not a large production wine. It's one of my favourite wines, not just because I actually love the style of wine, but it's also because it's very dear to my heart, because I didn't not only made the wine, but I actually took the cuttings, planted the vineyard, actually in the days when I did all the hard work at Torbrack myself. So this vineyard didn't exist before I came along, so it's probably why this is so dear to my heart.
Baby.
Yeah, well, very much so, yeah. The wines, especially when they age, you see a lot of that charcuterie, a lot of that sort of roasted meat sort of characters come out in the wine. As they age, they can get you know, very similar to the ways of Côte Rôties. In fact, a very famous master of wine here in the United Kingdom, and I won't mention her name, she actually tasted this wine blind and confused it for Côte Rôtie.
Really?
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
or a compliment?
Oh, I took it as a huge compliment. I mean, as I said, I'm not trying to make Côte Rôtie, but certainly if I can make a wine that someone confuses with a Côte Rôtie from something like the Barossa Valley, I'm doing something right.
Definitely, absolutely. Let's try it.
See, to me on the palate, you immediately get that lovely tarness and that lovely depth, which I find very attractive as a young wine, but it just absolutely smacks of where this wine's going to go in, once again, 8 to 10 years and longer. That's why I know it's going to develop that lovely sort of smoky complex, and as I said, that raw meat character, those nice charcuterie sort of characters, which I find incredibly sexy in Côte Rôtie. So
there's a lot of layers to this wine. I think we're getting into kind of deeper, more complex wines now, and I can really feel it. I mean, I would think this must age beautifully, but already I could really love it. Yeah,
well, I first made it in '98, so the first vintage is now what's that, 13 years old, and that's developing beautifully. It's still very fresh, but it has all those sort of secondary characters. But I, you know, as I said, this wine is one of my favourites to drink, and it's also great with food. You know, it's quite versatile. You know, it's obviously with red meat, but love it with game dishes, so venison and things like that.
Maybe roasted. Yeah,
but yeah, absolutely. But it also goes well with good strong fish dishes and things like that. It was quite surprisingly versatile, because it has those lovely soft tannins that actually gives it the ability to age. But you can just sit down and drink it too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Please click through each of the bottles that you see for an individual tasting note by Dave Powell and myself.